Happy October, everyone. I'm going to be uploading my horror film collection. I did it last year. I want to say, yeah, it was last year or maybe the year before, showing all the horror/scary movies in my collection. I am a big horror film kind of guy. Don't have a ton in my collection, but I always lean towards kind of scary movies. Now, I will give a disclaimer. There are a couple movies that aren't in my collection, which are going to be surprising. Stephen King's The Thing. The 4K Steelbook came out on that. I missed it and went to get it later that day, and it's completely sold out. And the only place for me to get it is on eBay, and it's very, very expensive. I want to say the last time I looked, it was over like $65 for a steelbook, and I'm like, oh god, that's a lot for a movie, like $70. Same with The Shining. They did come out with a 4K steelbook a while ago. I think even before I started really getting heavy into collecting physical media. That one is also very, very expensive on eBay to purchase. So I'm waiting either a good time to do it, or sometimes they'll re-release movies in 4K steelbooks just with different artwork. And so I'm trying to hold out and see. There will be also a couple movies in here, which definitely feel free to comment down below on whether they're considered psychological thrillers or, they're not really like that scary. Like, for example, Zodiac. Would you consider that a horror movie, really? But there's kind of scary elements about it. I wouldn't put it under the horror film genre, but some people probably do in their collection. So, like a good example, Underworld. There. Those are more action, but I guess they could kind of be seen as scary. But I guess you could also say that about Jurassic Park. So, they're, kind of action adventure. And there'll be some examples in this going through it. But anyways, let's get started. Oh, so Three from Hell 4K Steelbook, Rob Zombie film. Haven't seen it, but heard mixed reviews on it. 30 Days of Night. Guess you could put it in there. Definitely a horror film with like vampires coming to town. It's got Josh Hartnett in it. It's pretty good. 8213 Gacy House. This is actually a pretty good one. Some film crews going to John Wayne Gacy's house and set up cameras trying to capture him. And there's some pretty creepy elements about it, but definitely enjoyed that movie. I saw this on Movies, and Sue, she considered American Psycho a horror film. I would almost call this like a thriller, kind of. But, looking at this, if someone were like, describe it to me, I'd be like, oh, it's not a horror movie, but this is what I was talking about. So what do you guys think down below? Do you consider this a horror movie, yes or no? Same could be said about, even though it's not pulled out, Arachnophobia. Definitely a thriller, scary elements in it. Spiders kind of overrun a town. I maybe put that in the horror film section. Like, if there were a movie store open right now, that probably wouldn't be in anything. Or maybe if they had like a thriller section, but it would either be in that or the horror films. So that is one of my favorite movies, though. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, really good movie. And then we go on for a ways over here. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, classic movie to own. Black Phone, decent movie. I guess decent. Really good, but the ending was very disappointing. The Bye Bye Man, Cabin in the Woods, Candyman in 4K, 4K Steelbook of Child's Play, Cloverfield. I would consider that like a found footage horror film. I've got The Conjuring, which if you've seen my collection videos, this is cool with the lenticular clapping hands. I'm definitely going to end up keeping this slipcover or in the movie itself. Then I've got the 6-film collection, which has Annabelle the Nun, Annabelle Comes Home, The Conjuring, Annabelle Creations, and The Conjuring 2 all in this pack. I've got The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, and then Constantine. And the last movie I've got is The Dark and the Wicked, at least for the top shelf. Moving on, Dead Silence. I remember watching this, and I want to say it was 2006. Yeah, I came out to stay at my aunt's house here in Renton, Washington, and I watched it downstairs in her basement by myself, and it scared the absolute shit out of me. And I was 16 at the time. Don't Breathe. Same with this. They could be under the horror film, thriller, suspense type of thing. Like, you could watch it during Halloween. This wouldn't be like a family movie that you'd watch as like, oh, yeah, this would be good. I would consider this a horror film, or very close to. Don't Breathe 2. Drag Me to Hell. I've got Evil Dead, and then the new Evil Dead Rise in 4K. Flatliners, The Fourth Kind. I haven't seen this in a long time, but I remember it being a pretty weird, freaky, like, alien movie, and I need to rewatch it. I got Friday the 13th, Part 2, Friday the 13th, Part 3, and Friday the 13th, well, it's got my name on it. Well, now you know. I got Fright Night. Got Grave Encounters 1 and Grave Encounters 2. Got Halloween. Halloween 2. Halloween 3. Halloween 4. And Halloween 5. These all came out at Best Buy. Then I've got the 2018 Halloween, I want to say. And then I got the 4K Steelbook of Halloween Ends. I got Hereditary. I've got Hollow Man. Hostels Part 1 and 2. Oh, I think that was pulled out with it. I got House of a Thousand Corpse, 4K Steelbook. Sorry for the glare. And I've got House of Wax, which is actually a pretty good movie and has Paris Hilton in it. I've got all the Insidious movies. So I got Insidious 1, the 4K Steelbook. Insidious 2. Insidious Insidious 1, I've got 2 different copies. I've got the 4K Steelbook, and then I've got Insidious 1. I've got Insidious 2. Insidious Chapter 3. And then Insidious Insidious The Last Key. I was thinking ahead here on... I was going to talk about these two. Don't know why I'm keeping the original Blu-ray. I think it's just because it kind of matches these, minus that this one has a slipcover and the rest of them don't. I thought it'd be weird to have the Steelbook and then the rest of the collection. So maybe if these all come out in Steelbook, then I will pull all of those out and get rid of just the Blu-ray copies. So I think that's why I decided to keep it. I Saw the Devil. Hard to say that this is a horror movie. It's very gory. It could be put in the same category. It's tough, so I threw it in there and we'll let people decide. I got It, Stephen King's It TV series, and then from the TV series, and then It Chapter 1 in a Steelbook. Then It Chapter 2, I need to get the 4K Steelbook for that because I would like it. It Follows in a Steelbook. I've got Jaws. Also, Movies and Sue put this in there. I think this was definitely meant as kind of a scary movie. Like when this originally came out in theaters, people are like, "Oh yeah, that's a scary movie. It's a shark. Like they're all just stuck on a boat. It's terrifying." So yeah, again, tell me what you think down in the comments below. Jaws 2 we get put in there. Jeepers Creeper 1 and 2. Joyride 3. Never seen this. Just was it a bunch of movies that I ended up picking up. Knock at the Cabin. Suspense, kind of horror. So Krampus, really good. Very rarely are there Christmas horror movies. This is definitely one of them. Last House on the Left. Last Shift. This one's really good. Leatherface. Mama. I've got the Mimic 3 film collection. Another great Stephen King movie, Misery. I pulled this out because, again, I put The Mummy in there. Would I put the rest of them? No, I would say they're more adventure. That's like saying Indiana Jones is a horror film, but I do remember the first Mummy was terrifying. And when that came out as a kid, there was actually some pretty scary parts in there. Like when the dude breaks his glasses and he's just kind of fumbling down the tunnel. He's like, "I can't see without my glasses." There's definitely some pretty scary moments in it where it's hard to say if you were to show a kid, because a kid would find a lot of things scary. But even as an adult, I would say there's definitely some freaky, pretty scary scenes in it. My Bloody Valentine Steelbook. Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the newer Nightmare on Elm Street, I want to say 2018. The Paranormal Activity 6 film franchise. I wish they did more of these. And by wish they did more, I wish they would stop losing the sense of who they are. Like the first film, low budget, did extremely well in the box office, and I get it. Then you get more of a budget to make a second movie, and it's just they just got more CGI and more animated and more just cheesy, where the first one was actually pretty creepy. And that's a film franchise that, is sad to see kind of lose its purpose of what it was, and then it just took off into this like super animated kind of thing and spin-off. But it was cool how later in the films they would revert back to the first one, like, you know, popping out of the closet and he's in the kitchen from like the first film. But either way, I liked the direction that this was going, but it kind of lost itself. So, and then that started the whole found footage kind of movies. Parasite, Personal Shopper. Hard to say if this is a horror movie. Definitely a thriller. It's a Kirsten Stewart movie about a sister and a brother. Her brother ends up dying and tries to reach her from like the afterlife, and there's definitely some pretty freaky scenes in it. It can be enjoyed during Halloween time. So, 4K Steelbook of Poltergeist, classic. Prometheus, that's like putting aliens in there too. You could put them in there if you want, I guess. They are pretty freaky movies. I don't know if I'd consider Alien versus Predator like a horror film, but then that would also be like not considering Predators. So, anyways, that's what's up for debate. Quarantine, A Quiet Place. Yeah, they're like monster kind of movies, so I put them in there. They're great to enjoy during this time of year. Would you consider Rear Window then as well? Yeah. What else do I got? I got the 4K Steelbook of The Ring. Then I've got Rings, Anthony Hopkins and The Right. I got the Saw 7 film collection, as well as the first Saw movie and a 4K Steelbook. I've got Scream, the first one in a 4K Steelbook. Scream 2 in a 4K Steelbook. I missed out on Scream 3. I need to buy that on eBay. Then I've got the Scream 3 movie collection. So basically, once I get that third Steelbook, I guess I can get rid of this. I've got Scream 4. I've got the newer Scream in a 4K Steelbook. And Scream 5 in a 4K Steelbook. I've got Shudder. It's a pretty creepy movie. Silence of the Lambs, would you consider that a horror film? Again, let me know. Silent House, that's a pretty freaky movie that could be considered horror. I talk so fast sometimes. Guess you could put Sleepy Hollow in there. Kind of your call. Smile. Spiral, 4K Steelbook from the Saw franchise. Summer of '84 is kind of like a suspense, you know, neighbors and murder. The kids are trying to figure out. It's pretty intense. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a Steelbook. The Unholy. This movie was absolutely terrible. VHS. Like I said, I love these like found footage, camcorder type of movies, and these were really good. Again, got a little bit cheesier once you hit viral in '94, but VHS and VHS 2 were really good. Virus. This movie scared me as a kid. I don't know why Warm Bodies is pulled out. Willow Creek. I've talked about this one a lot. Some people love it. Some people hate it. The thought of being in the woods and the scene when they're in the tent absolutely terrifies me. These ones I won't be able to pull all the way out, but I've got The Witch and then Wrong Turn. So yeah, a little bit longer of a video. Again, this is my my horror film collection that I have. Again, there's a lot more movies I would like, a lot more classics, stuff I have yet to pick up. Again, I have a huge Amazon wish list of just movies I need to buy, but, you know, now that I've noticed, and I kind of keep checking weeks out, there's not a lot of good movies coming out here in the near future, so I'll probably be going to Amazon to pick up some more titles. But anyways, if there's anything in here that I should have, or, again, if you define one movie as a horror film and one is not, please feel free to comment down below. Thanks.